Good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year and welcome to the fourth online talk of SGT SGI. We are really desperately looking forward for a brighter 2021 after the devastating and very challenging 2020. However, in the meantime, as sad news has poured in, Professor John Graham Ramsay is no more. It was really a very heartbreaking news to me. Although I didn't meet him or see him personally, it has really created a vacuum on me. I think the main reason behind this is the work of Ramsay has been always guiding me, and I believe to most of us when we try to understand any deformed evolution of deformed rock more quantitatively. So he's a trendsetter of modern structural geology, basically. So before we start today's talk, we have the opportunity to pay respect to him. And fortunately, we have our teachers here among us who are really trained by Professor Ramsay. And we'll definitely like to hear from them about some memorable moments they had with him. However, before we do that, let us observe 1 minute silence to pay homage to Professor Ramsay. Thank you very much. So now I would like to hear from our teachers who are really who enjoyed their doctoral and postdoctoral time with Professor Ramsay. First, I will ask our sir, Professor Dhruva Mukhopadhyay sir, to speak few words about him and the introduction that you had and the memorable time that you had with Professor Ramsay. If you can.
This is, it's difficult for me because I am absolutely devastated by the news. And the memories crowd in my mind of my days, young days, when I was at the Imperial College in the early 60s, starting my research. There were three of us who were going to start research, three of us in structural geology. Myself, Philip Simony, and Ottmar Tobisch. We were going to start our research in the Highlands of Scotland. And we went there in autumn, and the fieldwork would start from next spring. So we were asked to attend a few classes to acquaint us with structural geology and with the geology of Scotland and overall some metamorphic petrology, etc. So I first attended the classes of John Ramsay in structural geology, John Saturn in metamorphic petrology, and Janet Watson in Precambrian geology. So these three stalwarts, I was very fortunate to have attended the classes of these three stalwarts. So when Ramsay came in the class, it was a class which the like of which I have never attended before nor after. The book, The Folding and Fracturing of Rocks, was still not published. He was then, of course, developing the content of the book and his class was for that. So we had a preview of this book through our class. And often he would develop any particular theme in the class itself. I still remember that once we were discussing the rotational inclusion trails within garnet porphyroblasts. And Ramsey's class was all on chalk and blackboard. No overhead projector, no slides, no PowerPoint, of course, was out of the questions. And he had a board with a huge stereo net on it. So he actually would draw all the things on the board in the class itself. So as the incident I was telling, so he was drew a garnet with a sigmoidal trail and asked us how to do it. So we try to do it, and then how the garnet rotates, and then the trail, it incorporates the trail in the matrix, and then it gradually you get a S-shaped trail. Ramsey said, yes, that's correct. But I was thinking for some days, can there be an alternative interpretation? We did not know what could be the alternative interpretation. He said that I was thinking whether the garnet rotating, can it be the foliation which is rotating? And then he developed that idea that it is not the garnet which is rotating, it is an earlier foliation which is oblique to the principal axis, and this oblique foliation is rotating and the garnet is growing without rotating, so you get a sigmoidal trail. And the same idea was published later in one of his publications. So this idea was developed right in the class itself. So many of the ideas in the books were like that. So it was, we could see how the subject was developing. So it was a very exciting period for us. And we learned whatever little structural geology I know, I learned from that class only. And afterwards, Ramsey's book. And other point about then is when we were thinking about doing research, and he gave us a few areas from which we could choose. So we looked at the areas, and then I chose one particular one of them. So this was one of the things with Ramsey, that I had the privilege of being his first PhD student, because he was also starting his career at that time. Just a few years, 2-3 years, I think, he had started teaching. So the other two, they went to Gilbert Wilson, but all three were in effect guided by Professor Ramsey. His guidance was such that he never told us, do this, do that. He taught us by examples. So when you take a problem to them, he would say, just think about the problem, and then he would discuss something which is some way related to the problem that I asked him. And they said that think about these things and read this and then see whether you can find an answer. So it was always like that, he taught by example, and he taught us how to think and how to approach a problem. Don't try to find a ready-made solution. This is what in modern jargon we say, think out of a box. So he said, always think not along the beaten track, think about something different. It may be a wild idea, it doesn't matter. You give your imagination free rein. So, and then I went for field work. We stayed for 5 to 6 months in the field. Of course, within that 6 months, nearly half of the days would be lost, because Scotland was a very terrible weather in Scotland. So every other day it would rain and we could not do much work in the field. So in any way, so going to the field was again another excitement for me, because whatever we learned from Ramsay in the class, in the theory, we could see that the same thing right in the rock itself. So that was a very exciting time for us. And other point about Ramsay is that he taught us, and he was like a inspiration for us to do work. And but he also had a tremendous concern for the welfare of his students. I think he had talked more with me about where I was staying, whether my stay was comfortable, how would I go to the field, how would I travel in the field, because to have a car in those days was out of the question. So he advised that have a bicycle so you can cycle to your outcrop, because there was a road running right through the area, and my area was on either side of that road. So then after I had completed my work, he was very worried that whether I would get a job, what sort of job I would get. And because many of his other students, they did not go for the academic line, because there were jobs very few in the academic line in those days, particularly in England. So they went for companies, and many went to the United States. So he was a little bit sad because of that. So he was very happy when I landed with a teaching job in India. And then afterwards, once he came to India, he spent about 3 months in here, or about 2 months, I think, in here. He had a visiting professorship at Berkeley. And then when he was returning from Berkeley to England, he went via India, and he brought a camping car with him. And so from USA, it was shipped to Bombay, the car. And then from Bombay, all the way, he drove back to England in that car. And in the car, we went for field in that camping car. We could sleep in the car itself. So it was Ramsay, his family. He had 2 young daughters with him, his wife, and myself. So 4 people were there. So we went, it was a scouting for Ramsay in the Himalayas. He had not started his work in the Himalayas. So we went to Shimla, we went to some other Dalhousie, and all driving and camping by the roadside. And that was again a delightful 1 month I spent with him in the field in India. And Mrs. Ramsay would cook for us. The cooking was also on the car itself. And the other point which impressed me very much about Ramsay, which, you see, he retired at a relatively young age. Young age means he retired just at 60. And he retired. There was a on his day of retirement. All his students from all over the world, they flocked together, and we had a grand gathering, and we met my old colleagues also, and many of my predecessors and my successors. And Ramsay guided a field trip. There was one 15-day field trip before the meeting, and a 15-day field trip after the meeting. So it was like a traverse across the Alps. And it was all on foot. We had to climb the hills and then cross the hill and go from one station to other, and then go by car to the next one, and then again cross the hills. So like that, it was, again, it's a capsule view of the geology of the Alps. And he guided both the trips. But already he had this hip problem, and I don't remember now whether he had the operation before or immediately after the trip. And in that meeting he announced, this is the last of my geology. I'm not going to do any more research. The thing I wanted to do always in my life, I wanted to compose music and practice music. So I am going to Provence and have a small cottage there and start a music school there. He was a very good cello player. We heard his cello playing while I was a student at Imperial College. He played in the college orchestra and also in one or two public performances also, in string quartets and also in orchestras. He composed also a few pieces. And he was very interested in Indian music, particularly in Ravi Shankar's sitar. And he was asking me all these things about Indian music. And I am an ignoramus as far as classical music is concerned. I like hearing classical music, but if you ask me about the grammar of the music, I will not be able to tell you anything. So he was trying to experiment with combining this melody and harmony, all these things. So it was a very enjoyable time with me, with Ramsay. I not only learned geology from him, but I learned many things, how to look at life, how to look at your colleagues. He was very affectionate to all his colleagues, but he was very open. If there is something to criticize, he would criticize, but in such a way, it's never very offensive. And that never affected his personal relationship with anybody. But he came from a very, what we call this London Cockney family. And his accent was, he had a little bit of a Cockney accent also. He was brought up in the poor quarters in London and went to a grammar school and played in the he did not go to any of these private schools. So these Oxford and Cambridge dons, they used to tell of Ramsay that Ramsay is not a gentleman. And he was proud of that he came from a working class background. So these so many little incidents crowd in my mind. It's difficult to talk also now, because it makes me go back to my old days when I was just starting my career. And so what can I say? If I say I pay my respect to him, that will be too meager. I do not know how to express my indebtedness to him in every possible way. Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your expression towards him. Okay, we have Professor Sharada Prasad Mohanty. Sir is there. So I would request you if you can express your interaction with him in brief, sir. Professor Mohanty.
Thank you, Professor Bose. Actually, here I have a lot of disruption with the voice. I am not sure whether everybody will be able to hear me clearly or not.
It's okay, we can hear you.
I met Professor Ramsey in 1989 as a postdoctoral fellow at ETH Zurich. At that time, I was persuaded by Professor Naha and Professor Mukhopadhyay to join there in preference to another university at USA, where I was getting offer for fellowship, which was much more than what I got through Government of India for joining Zurich. And when I joined, Professor Ramsey took initial arrangement for my accommodation with one of his doctoral student. Then he also made prior arrangement for weekend field visit for me to accompany him. Then after 2-3 days, there were other guests also coming to the department. So he asked me if you don't mind shifting your residence to my place. You leave this place and if you don't mind, you stay in one of my study room. The room is may not be very large, but maybe sufficient for you. Then I agreed, gladly agreed, and stayed in that room, which that room he was using essentially for drafting all his maps and figures. He had a collection of stencils and pens of different size at that time. He was doing his drafting himself, and he also asked me to join breakfast with him a couple of times. And what I found, Professor Ramsey had a lot of affection for India and Indian student. And I was told that his ancestors were serving British company in India, and they were stationed at Simla, and that's why Ramsey loved Indian people and Indian culture. In fact, he was a very good cook and he loved Indian food. He used to buy all Indian spices from London and store that in his house and cook himself. So a couple of times he also invited me to join the dinner prepared by him using those Indian spices. I really enjoyed those materials with him. Then regarding Professor Ramsey, what can I say? I was allotted a room in the department along with another doctoral student. One day in the morning, Professor Ramsey came to my room, and he was having his three of his books, and he gave me those books and told me this is a complimentary copy from my side. This copy, The Folding and Fracturing of Rock, is no more being printed. That's why I have put my autograph. You can keep it with you, and that's how he gave me those. So that impressed me a lot. He used to feel very good about his students, and he had very good interaction with his students. Then I learned a lot from him during the weekend field trips to Swiss Alps, Helvetic Alps, where he explained many things to the students. Then, well, there are many things. I think there are many people to speak about Professor Ramsay, and time I was told it will be up to 4:30. So with that, I pray God that Professor Ramsay, this soul should may rest in peace. So with that,
Thank you, Professor Manti, for sharing your thoughts. Now I would request Professor Shuita Sengupta. She had a chance to interact with him for a couple of years. I will request Shuita Sengupta to speak something. Madam, are you there? Hello.
Yes,
Professor-
hello. Yeah,
yeah,
can
yeah,
you
yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, I was never a student of John Ramsay. When I arrived in Imperial College in 1973, he left Imperial College and joined University of Leeds. So, but I I went to the field, most of the field, uh, with Professor Janet Watson or Neville Price and John Cosgrove, and they showed me the Monarch exposure where he did his PhD, and which is the basis of all the classification of superimposed folds there. And I was very happy to visit those classical areas. And later, when I was introduced to him, he just said, "Oh, you are the Pebble girl." And I was really flattered because my thesis was on Pebble deformation, and that thesis paper was published in Tectonophysics, and he remembered the name, and so that's why he referred to me as Pebble girl. But I really came to know him during my second visit to Imperial College during 1986, when his student Mike Coward was in charge of structural geology. He used to invite John, and he used to give lectures, some kind of courses, and I always joined these lectures to learn from him. And as Dhruvoda described, he is super drawing, and he started from one end of the blackboard and continued to draw and write down till the other end. And it was like, I mean, those days we didn't have any mobile or no system of taking a camera with us. Otherwise, I would have taken pictures of that blackboard. It was like a page of a book. And since then, he was very kind of, as you said, fond of Indian students, and he gave me lots of extra importance and invited me for lunch at different pubs around Imperial College. And that time he was married to Dorothy. Dorothy became a very good friend of mine also. When I compiled the volume in honor of Shubir Ghosh and Professor Naha, uh, I invited him to write a paper, and he readily agreed. But then he fell very sick and had to be hospitalized, and I was worried. But those days we didn't have much of use of internet, but he kept on writing to me that I have brought the manuscript to the hospital. And he actually finished the paper sitting in hospital beds and sent a very, very important. All of you have seen how detailed and important paper he have sent. And he wrote to me that he have high regards for Professor Ghosh and Naha, and he would very much be happy to contribute. Then on the occasion of his 70th birthday, I was very, very happy that he invited me to join that Penrose conference and present a paper and join the field trip led by him. And that was my chance to go to the field, to the Alps along with John Ramsay. And as you know, that was a lifetime experience. And before I show a few slides from that field trip, I would like to I remember that while we were doing the pre-conference field trip, he just called me one day and said that my lecture was on the third day. Obviously, the inaugural lecture was by John Ramsay, and my lecture was on the third day of the conference. But he told me that I would like you to give your lecture just after my lecture. So you will be talking on the first day after my lecture. Naturally, I was very nervous, but somehow I have to give it. And after that lecture, he came personally and congratulate me. That was another immemorable moment. So I will just share a few slides from that lecture. This was taken in 2007, as I was telling you, on the 50th anniversary of the book, Folding and Fracturing of Rocks. This is the 2002 group picture with Professor Ramsay in the red shirt on the left side. And that's him leading the field trip in 2002. He had this knee operation, heart operation, but he was as young as ever in the field. That was in Lageti area, where a number of his students did their PhD work, and he was explaining some exposures. These are some of his pictures of that period. Dorothy is with him on the other side. There's a lunch break, and there were a lot of discussion of geology and other things during the lunch break with a glass of beer. So that was the end of the slide. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for sharing your the field trip that you enjoyed with Professor Ramsay. I can't see Dr. V.C. Thakur here. However, there is another. I'll just talk to him after this. But in the meantime, I received one mail from Dr. A.K. Dubey. He was also a doctoral student of Professor Ramsay. Unfortunately, A.K. Dubey said that he would be busy in some family program today. So he sent me a message to read it out before you. So he wrote, "The demise of Professor John Ramsay is a major personal tragedy for me. I have lost my teacher, my mentor, and my guru. I was lucky to have him as my PhD supervisor when I joined the University of Leeds in the year 1974. He left for Zurich after completion of my PhD research in December 1976. Professor Ramsay was a noble man and a great teacher. He taught me not only how to proceed in research, but how to lead a happy life. He knew how to keep students focused on research problem and how to supervise with minimum guidance and interference. Even after completing my PhD, we remained in touch. I received his valuable advice while writing and publishing my Springer book on Himalayan geology. I felt everything is not right when he did not respond to my Christmas and the New Year greetings. He was suffering from heart ailment, but never imagined that the end is so near. Goodbye, John. You will always remain in my heart, and not only me, but the entire art science community will miss you for many, many years. Dr. Ashok Kumar Dubey, Mahalakshmi Nagar, Indore." So this was the message that Dr. A.K. Dubey sent to me to read it out. So I know this, and V.C. Thakur was also a student in Imperial College when he was there, I think, but I cannot see Thakur Sahib here right now. But there are many persons other than this might have met Professor Ramsey in some conferences and all. So far I know Professor Chetty also met him once. Professor Anupam Chattopadhyay also met him once. If you have anything to share, you can just share in a few lines, sir. And after that, we'll start our scheduled talk. Professor Chetty.
Thank you, Shantanu. I think I am fortunate to have heard all these great associates of Professor Ramsey. I think they were really fortunate to have his guidance, wisdom, and everything. I also had some opportunity of meeting him in 1987 in Manchester in a meeting. I found him very noble, simple, and a very humiliating person, very great person, very accessible. Rarely we come across such people with such great qualities and great talents. I think that was my fortune. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chetty. Anybody else is there to express?
Yeah,
Yeah, Shantanu, please.
Professor Bose, if you allow me.
Yeah, sure.
So yes, like Professor Mohanty, I was there also in ETH Zurich, but the time when Professor Ramsey left and Professor Jean-Pierre Bourque was heading the department, but it felt so good to work in a department that actually Professor Ramsey created. And there were a few things that he left, and one of them was a microscope that actually John used to work. And it was brought back to the rock deformation laboratory. So all the work that we used to do with the microscope was from John. That was John's. But I would like to also share my screen, and I think I can actually continue what Professor Sengupta said. So that would be in a way.
Okay.
Yeah. So Madam attended 70th birthday, the celebration of John, and I attended 80th. And so before that, I would like to show you. Can you all see the screen, please?
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
see. But
So-
you just bring your PPT in the front.
Yeah,
please.
I don't have a PPT, but I show you this. So this is the cover of his famous book, the first volume of strain analysis. And I was always surprised that whether this, of course, we know that this is a photograph of disharmonic fold, a sketch of disharmonic fold, and I actually could see the exposure. So this is it. So exactly from where this was drawn. So I could find it from the archive of photographs from ETH, and I took permission to scan it. So this was taken by John. So you can now see that, I mean, from where these beautiful sketches come from. And then, yes, this is the 80th birthday celebration of John Ramsey. He's sitting here. Dorothy is here with two of their dogs. Many of his students, his colleagues, his friends are here. Madam supposed to be there, but she could not join. The point is, when I got introduced with John in ETH, I think sometime around 2009 or 10 when he visited. So John Pierre introduced me that he's the postdoc and he comes from India. The first question he asked that if I know Professor Dhruva Mukhopadhyay and Professor Sudipta Sengupta. And when I said that I'm their student and Professor Sengupta taught me in the class, he was very happy and he immediately said, oh, then you must be good. So this is the only photograph I have with Professor John Ramsey from the field trip. I wish I had a mobile photo, or I knew that I had to do something with this. So I probably would take more photographs. But yes, it was very nice to meet a person face to face of someone of his stature, and when from the very beginning of the study, you know his name, you read his books, and then also you know the story from Professor Mukhopadhyay or Professor Sengupta when I spent time in Jadavpur University. So it was a great opportunity to meet him, and certainly it's a great loss for all of us. So thank you very much, and thank you, Professor Bose, for giving me the opportunity to speak here. Thank you.
It's good. Thank you, Shantanu. Thank you, Shantanu. So we are coming to the end of this first session. If anybody else is there to speak a few words or share, express something regarding Professor Ramsay. So if not, then I must say that one era has ended. As far as structural geology is concerned, we must work hard to really go forward with his ideas and all. So with that, we come to the end of this session. Now we'll start our scheduled talk.